Now we're moving forward with Bitwise, Ryan Rasmussen, crypto prediction number 7. This is out of 10 that we're talking about and how it pertains to you, the financial advisor. Prediction number 7, here it is. Taylor Swift will launch NFTs to connect with fans. One possibility, Spotify, where Swift was the most streamed artist in 2023 with more than 26 billion streams, is experimenting with token-gated playlists that require listeners to own a particular NFT in order to listen. So this is them saying that Taylor Swift will offer an NFT. I mean, who better to do that? Who's going to bring more adoption than Taylor Swift? Maybe probably the most important person in America in the last year. She has been pretty vocal, actually, about Spotify, about the whole music process. And if anyone has the ability to upset and disrupt the music industry, it would be Taylor Swift, because she holds so much power and so much sway because of her popularity and the amount of money she can drive. But talking about issuing an NFT. Now, this is not, in estimation, this is not probably what Ryan's saying is NFT as just FOMO, as just collectible, as just like, I want to issue an NFT just to do it, just to say I did it. Because honestly, Taylor Swift and her team seem to be very thoughtful into what they put their money and their time and their effort into. She famously turned down being able to invest in FTX and being able to promote or whatever FTX because she didn't understand it, because she didn't like it, she didn't like the people, whatever it might be. And turns out she was right. So she and her team are very thoughtful about these things. Or if anyone else launches an NFT, and I think what we need to talk about is the actual use cases behind NFTs. In the past, they were, there was obviously some fad and some trend behind it. There was some bubble aspect behind it. There was everyone launching NFT projects without an idea of where they were going to go. What we have seen in the NFT world from those NFT projects that launched a couple years ago, the likes of the Bored Apes, the CryptoPunks, which are part of Yuga Labs, the likes of what we've seen lately with Pudgy Penguins, which is part of the Solana ecosystem, says that they're going to take those NFTs and capitalize, not necessarily capitalize, but utilize the aspects of ownership, utilize the idea of intellectual property, of royalties, such that, for instance, it's been talked about with Yuga Labs, with Bored Apes and CryptoPunks. If I own a Bored Ape and that Bored Ape gets utilized in like a cartoon, or I can negotiate some of the rights behind it. So if my particular ape, if the image of my ape gets used in a cartoon or gets used in a series or somewhere, I can capitalize, I can be a part of the revenue stream, the royalties that come from it. That is the usefulness of non-fungible tokens instead of just the speculation and collectability. That makes them an investment. If I know that there's an income stream and royalties tied to it, it makes it an investment. In this case, what Ryan's talking about is someone like Taylor Swift issuing an NFT such that I pay for that. I pay for it kind of like I would a membership, but it gets me, I have to have that in order to listen to certain music or listen to certain streams. So many artists now, aren't necessarily selling CDs. They're not even necessarily selling their music via something like iTunes anymore. It just goes straight to Spotify and they get paid little minuscule pieces of a penny every time it gets streamed. And those streams could be, as we saw with Taylor Swift, 26 billion times in a year. But now, how can they capitalize even more on their popularity? How can they take more custody and ownership of the value they've created through their music? It is, I can issue you, my fans, some way to pay those that want to pay more, pay a little bit more, pay more, and you get certain experiences. And some of those experiences could be you get certain music streamed to you on Spotify. Maybe you get it first, maybe you get it early. Maybe you get certain experiences at concerts. Maybe you get backstage. Maybe you get tickets first. You've maybe paid in advance for that. But since it's a non-fungible token, possibly I can trade that. So maybe if I buy it and I'm not using the streams anymore, or if it's the case of a Pudgy Penguin or a Bored Ape, maybe there's a royalty stream there such that someone else sees the value in it and wants to pay more than I paid for it, and they can buy it from me. Maybe there's a secondary marketplace for them. Again, that doesn't involve speculation, but involves real fundamental valuation of that token as an asset. I think that's what we're likely to see. And someone like Taylor Swift doing this could be an NFT that, again, gets you access, but it could also just as easily be an NFT that gets you participation in royalty streams, which obviously, might be some sort of security. But if anyone's going to do it, if anyone's going to research it, it might be Taylor Swift to figure out how can I give my fans access to the royalty streams from Spotify music, and maybe that's a non-fungible token, and therefore it's an investable asset. So overall, the gist here is likely we will see more experimentation, like we will see more organizations, companies using non-fungible tokens for something like membership, for something like access like that. It could be the likes of Taylor Swift or other artists. It could be Spotify offering this. It could be sports teams. The Dallas Mavericks have talked about this, of course, offering NFTs or tickets as NFTs, or the rights to the tickets as NFTs, such that they're tradable, such that they might have value later and I can then go sell them to somebody else. And by virtue of the fact that I have this NFT, I get certain experiences. Maybe I get some, better tickets. Maybe I get access to playoff tickets. Maybe I get a special place within the stadium or something like that. Giving people those non-fungible tokens as kind of memberships, I think that is definitely going to increase. We've seen already airlines like Lufthansa using NFTs as part of their loyalty program. We've seen Starbucks using it as part of their loyalty program. And they don't do it because NFTs are a fad and because I want to collect this NFT and hope that I can trade it sometime on a marketplace. It's because this is how I'm going to show my membership. It's not going to necessarily be a username and password. It's going to be, I have this non-fungible token in my wallet. I have this proof that I'm one of the members in my wallet, and this is how I'm going to utilize it. And you're going to have different companies like a Spotify, or again, like sports franchises, that are going to utilize non-fungible token technology rather than necessarily utilizing typical username and password technology to prove that I own, to prove that I'm a member, to prove that I've paid for this exclusivity. And the bonus of it is now potentially my membership or my exclusivity is of value, meaning there's a secondary market for. So that's what helps me, whether I'm an investor or just a fan, the fact that now there might be a secondary market for my membership, for my exclusivity and my fandom, that to me is important as well. And I think that's something that as advisors, you're going to have to understand. Clients are going to have these. You might have clients that are issuing these that want to understand how to issue memberships using non-fungible tokens, and it's perfectly acceptable and is usable and is doable right now. You might have clients that pay for things this way. Again, this goes to utilizing things like stable coins, which we've already talked about, to pay for them. It goes to understanding wallet security, safety. It goes to figuring out if these tokens have value, if these non-fungible tokens have value because they represent an income stream or they represent a membership or exclusivity. And I, whether I'm Taylor Swift or whether I'm Adam or whether I'm someone else, can offer, only 1,000 memberships. And after that, I'm capping them. And then those memberships can take on a secondary market of their own, and understanding what the value is. All of these are aspects of non-fungible tokens that are likely going to get played with and experimented with and used now, not just by kind of degens that are creating them out of nothing, but large companies like Nike and Starbucks and Lufthansa and Spotify and Taylor Swift that might be using them coming up in 2024.